So there's been a bit of time between episode 3 and episode 4. The last time we finished up, and you guys get to watch that just last Tuesday, that swinging the leg over, you know, get on, get off, don't try to chip away at too much too quickly. You know, if you bite off more than you can chew on these youngsters, they're really athletic and you have a long time to get them broke. And I really feel that chipping away slowly, every day a little bit, every day a little bit, you might ride them 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I think there's a misconception that, you know, my horses look really broke, I think, early in their 2-year-old year, and they steer good and they're free and easy and relaxed and they do some cool things. And often I think there's this idea that to get that far you have to ride really hard and push them. But I think if you ride 5 days a week and you chip away 10 or 15 minutes on these 2-year-olds, if their mind is right, you teach them 1 or 2 things and you move on tomorrow. So we're 2 weeks removed from that episode 3. We've been riding Tyne, messing around with him a little bit, building some of those things, starting on the steering and getting all of his gaits good. So we're gonna play around today. I think you're gonna see a big change in the horse that you saw in episode 3 and now in episode 4. And that was some I wanted to teach him a few things, some I just got busy and we've just been chipping away and not had time to shoot videos. So enjoy this one. And you know what? You'll see these 2-year-olds, they all come along at different speeds. They all learn things differently. They all get stuck in different areas. So we'll see where Tyne gets stuck today. All right, so in the past 2 weeks, we've just kind of chipped away at this horse. You know, saddle him every day, mess around with him. The biggest thing that I'm working on right now is just making sure that he understands his gaits and making sure he knows what I'm asking from him. So we're just steering, try to get his transitions smooth, try to get him to keep his shoulders together and move smooth around. I mean, at this point, as I'm riding this horse, I'm always paying attention to how he feels when I tack him up. This is where, you know, sometimes they'll get a little ulcery or they'll start to get kind of feely in the cross tie. So here's where I'm gonna feel, you know, does he start to get real anxious or get real tight when I saddle? And that'll help me kind of just keep an eye on his overall health, you know. In the meantime, you know, he's been on the walker a lot. He's got real good at that. I think, you know, we showed you there a couple episodes ago, him going on that hot walker. I think that's a really, really great way to get them fit and mentally broke. You can see I can cinch this horse up reasonably tight and he has no weird feelings at all. You know, he's super easy that way. So I've got polos on him. I'm gonna go out and jog him around just a little bit. Let me see. I'm gonna find my Bozell. This colt's got to the point where I literally am gonna put the Bozell on him. Jog him around on the end of it. He's been so good-minded. He's really sweet too. Like, he just loves to be around you. You go in the stall. We went in the stall to get him before we came here to shoot this, and he just is laying there sleeping, hangs out. You know, got to chase him up. He's just a real sweet dude. And for the pressure and the work, you know, it hasn't changed him any at all. So it's always good. So I've started out with him, you know, and you guys saw that in one of the previous episodes. You know, just get him to move his feet a little bit. You can see how quiet he is, you know, and how smooth he's gotten moving his feet around, you know. Right now, I just want him to think a little bit. I don't really need him that warmed up, or, you know, I'm gonna get on him and go slow, and he's so quiet. The more little circles you do and the more pushing on him and the more lunging you have to do to get him warmed up, the more miles you take off that colt. So if he can, that's broken. There you go. Maybe we'll work on that for a second. Whoa. There you go. I love how much attention this horse pays all the time. He'll lick his lips and he just looks at you all the time. He says he forgot how to back up. Ho. Ho. There you go. Says my feet don't work today. And you can see there, he licks his lips again. I'll give him time to think about it. I'm not too quiet with this one. Ho. There you go. And I'm not going to ask too much because I found already there. You see that? He'll think that through every single time, and you can get into a rhythm of that. Good-minded one won't hold their breath long. Ho. There you go. Ho. There you go. Wait, he'll take that step, and then he'll lick his lips again. And it's amazing if you take that time to really let them do that. They learn pretty quickly. You know, and he took that deep breath, but he didn't really quit. And you can see him still looking. He's really locked in here. Just let him think about it a little bit. Not sure why he forgot to back up. There we go. See? There you go. And you can see his ears move. You see him blink. You see him kind of think all that through. Now I'm going to send him off to my right. There we go. And again, I want him to be quiet. You can make one go fast another day. There you go. Ho. 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 There you go. Ho. Now I don't want him to step up like that. He seems to be a little bit, just kind of get in his face a little, make him stand over. Ho. 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 There we go. There we go. So again, I'm actually going to make him relax. I got to watch that I don't move too much, move your hands too much. That'll get them thinking you're going to tell them something else, and it'll make them hold their breath a little bit longer sometimes. For one reason or another, he kind of got stuck in that backup today, and that's, you know, there you go. Kind of wait for him to lick his lips again. And this kind of stuff, it goes quick, you know, but it's 30 seconds, 45 seconds, maybe it's a minute or two. But I think they catch on so quickly that sometimes it feels like it takes you a long time when you're doing it. And sometimes people on the outside think you didn't do anything, or you just stood there, you didn't, you know, and it goes really quickly when you're on the outside. So I'm curious, because now, you know what, like his ears kind of sideways, his eyes look relaxed. We might not actually get, you know, he might have released that tension when he moved his feet. But I'd hold to the fact that at some point, this colt's still going to lick his lips, or see if I'm right or wrong. See, I don't like that little bit there. He seems to want to just step up. I'm going to pick on that a little bit. There we go. I do love how patient this horse is. He really doesn't have any problem hanging out here. He's pretty solid with his feet. I'm going to move his feet again a little bit, because the horses are out in the field in the back there. And he's kind of forgot that I'm here, so see that? I just got him a little bit wound up. There we go. There you go. So sometimes that'll happen, you know. Everything's quiet and relaxed. Nobody's worried about anything. and then he sees them horses out at the back of the arena. And we'll let him be a horse a little bit, you know. As long as he can come back to me when I ask him. I don't mind if he looks around. It's not going to hurt anybody for him to look. He just has to pay attention to me. There we go. There you go. Now I'm going to move his feet and just kind of walk with him. See if we can't get him to relax that way, because sometimes they'll get, there you go. You guys might be able to see that. There, he's licked his lips there. Sometimes they'll get locked into something and they'll forget, you know, they're not really learning anything by standing there focused on something. You just kind of move their feet and walk them away. And then you find that they come back to you a little bit. So he's been really quiet. We're just going to jump on him. You know, he has that ability to be really soft in his muscle. That's something I just love about this colt. You don't make those kind. I think they come that way. They just come easy going like that. So I'm going to work on steering him a bunch, and I'll kind of show you guys. You know, I start right from here riding him one-handed. So, you know, when I pick up on both hands, and you can see that in some of my other training videos, you know, that I slide that rein and then I pull their nose like that. And I'm not going to go too fast on a horse at this level. I just want to make sure I can control those feet, because if I can't steer him around, it doesn't matter how fast I can go, you know, he's going to get away from me. So, you know, I kind of pull on him. And so I pick up that outside rein, lay that against his neck, then draw his nose, and I'll start to get him where he pays attention to me. You see, draw on him again. Just make him pay attention. And I'm going to start riding them like with a one-handed feel as soon as possible, because I really want him to think about being neck reined from day one. So I sort of draw my hands there. That outside rein is kind of always laying against that neck. I'm not going to do too much work. You know, if he picks up speed, I'm just going to steer him again. Make him think about it. Steer him again. Make him think about it. I'm always laying that rein. Once he walks, I'll leave him. He starts jogging again, draw on him again. And I'll steer now to the right until I'm happy with that, and until he can find the speed I want. I'm not going to try to hold this horse slow. I'm just going to release him when he figures out how to walk. I'll be like, okay, there you can walk. You know, don't put any pressure on him. Let him really stretch out. Let him use that motion. And that's one of the reasons my horses are soft and have that shape to them, is because I'll put my hand down and get out of their way pretty soon. I don't mind if he runs off on me. What does it take me, 2 or 3 milliseconds to pick my reins up and get a hold of him again? So you see that I kind of take my hands real far left and right and just get him to start following both hands and being the speed that I want. There we go. Lay that outside rein on his neck, bring his shoulders through. Lay that outside rein on his neck, bring his shoulders through. And it starts to get really smooth, and you can start doing that kind of thing with one hand, you know, and already, you know, they can start to get that idea. Here he gets stuck, so go over here, steer him around, let him go. And steer him, and let him go. And if he picks up speed, see, before I even picked my hand up, he went, oh shoot, that was the wrong answer. You know, slide that rein over here, steer. Biggest thing is to make sure that they keep going forward, but you don't want to get them going forward like in somebody else's speed or somebody else's rhythm. You know, you got to make sure that horse stays the speed that you asked them for without trying to fight that sort of transition, right? So, you don't want to fight him for trotting off. You don't want to tell him that's a bad idea because you want him to go forward. You just want him to start thinking that you'll tell him what to do. Now I'll cluck to him, say, hey, you can trot, that's fine. Same rules apply. Slide that left rein up his neck, pull his nose there. If he's good, I'll let him go. He's falling in, oh well, we'll go the other way for a little while. Pull on him. You know, now that's a little faster than I want to go. So I just draw on him again. Draw on him again. Draw on him again. And I just steer a horse around until they want to be steady and good. You see that? There, he starts to hang in that shape a little bit. It's a little faster than I want. Steer him again. Leave him alone. Now, that time is the same idea as him trotting off. I'm not going to fight him for going back to the walk, you know. He doesn't really know everything that I asked. He's trying to get the right answer. There, I didn't ask him to trot, so we're going to just go back there. And I think that's another thing that you got to watch. You know, if they get the wrong answer at this point in their training, you got to be careful you don't beat them up because they don't know what the end goal is, you know. And so now you can start to already pick your hand up and draw your hand across, and he should start to follow that rein, you see. Already this quickly, I can go over here and draw my hand around, and that horse knows to come off that outside rein, because even two-hand in the Bozell, you know, I could do the same thing in the snaffle. I start to draw, and both hands have that feel of laying that rein on and drawing him across. And then, you know, I'll release him when his, in this case, his right front leg makes that big step. When he steps across, we'll release him. You know, left front leg steps across, we'll release him. Ask him to jog again. You know, and he should start to stay between the reins pretty good. I should be able to pick him up, move him here, pick him up, move him over here. You know, and you can see I'm not trying to do circles on this horse. I'm actually trying to get him straight. You know, so I'm going to steer him. Sounds kind of funny. I'm going to steer him until he goes straight. Because if he can go straight, I can steer him left or right, whatever I want. If he kind of has a predisposition to going crooked, see, I put my hand down, he goes left. We're going to work on him until I put my hand down and he goes straight, 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 straight. And we're going to steer again. Release him, let him go straight, 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 straight. He says, I want to go left. Go over here, release him for going straight. Release him. Now he wants to fall in, so I'm just going to drag him over here, give him a bit of a release there at the top of that circle, you know, so he knows. There we go. And I just kind of let him figure it out. See, he wants to drop his shoulder in there. I say, no, let's go over here. I just kind of play with this colt until he's not sure exactly what I'm asking. Let him kind of figure it out, you know. There, same rules. He says, want to lean in. I say, well, no. You get a release if you go down over here. So that's about where I'd be at on a horse at this point. And I'll let them just kind of relax and settle and find their own way. I try not to fight it with them too much. You know, I'm not trying to create anything other than a good mind and a real relaxed way of doing things. I don't really mind at all if he finds his own way, because in the long term, if that horse can find his own way, he'll carry himself, he'll pack himself, he'll balance himself, he won't look to you to hold everything together. So if you can start teaching him to pack himself around and find his own natural rhythm, you're not fighting the momentum of that horse. You're actually helping him enhance his momentum while you're sitting on top of him. So he's trying to figure out all that balance. And if you start to mess with their face, or you start to expect too much from them too early, I find that they start thinking more about you and more about like making mistakes than they do about finding their own way. So at this point, if he makes mistakes or he picks up the wrong lead or wants to lean this way or that way, I just try to think of ways to make him think that it's not a good idea, but I'm not going to fight with him. I just kind of let it go, keep his feet moving. So if we take a minute to look back at episode 3, you can see where it took me 3 episodes to swing my leg over. And here we are, exactly as I've said. No one's ever come to me and said, I wish you got on my good horse 2 weeks earlier. Here we are 2 weeks down the road, and we've just chipped away a couple minutes a day. I mean, really, it's very, very little work. You stick with something, you chip away at it until it feels good, you move on tomorrow to the next thing. And it's not about riding them down or making them, you know, grinding on them. I mean, these are youngsters. So, I mean, compare that with me riding them around here in episode 4 and just have a thought about how 2 weeks is really nothing in the grand scheme of developing a really good horse, you know. And so this horse, I think it's easy to get in a big hurry and want to get results too quickly. And I think more and more the industry's starting to realize that chipping away and going slow and building them slowly and consistently is always better. And so I'm really thankful for that. And it's just a crazy comparison to think, you know, you get on, you do nothing in episode 3, you get on 2 weeks later in episode 4 and you walk, trot, lope him around, no issues, no problems, just all the puzzle pieces coming together now. And it really isn't a lot of time. So you can see here in episode 4, I'm not lunging this horse that much anymore. You know, I pretty much can come out and get on him. You know, we got stuck a little bit in the backup. One of the big things that I work on right away with these youngsters at this point in their training is just steering. The steering helps me control the speed and helps me start working on their gaits. You know, I don't want to gallop around and not have control of how that horse goes around. So I think it's a lot of fun to see how those things come together. I'm really excited about this colt, and I really appreciate you guys coming along. Like and subscribe. You know, make sure you come back. We're going to be posting every Tuesday until we got this horse broke. Might be a while.